Right, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show, it's called Redemption Rehab. If you tuned in today, it's for one reason, and that's to start winning championships in fantasy football. Here we are on our website, fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com. Today, we're talking about kickers. We're going to show you exactly who our top kickers are in the NFL. We're going to show you some sleeper picks we like, and we're going to show you exactly where to draft them in your upcoming season-long drafts later this year. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Okay, here we are talking about our top kickers for the 2020 NFL season. As you can see over here, one of our favorite websites is fantasypros.com. When you get a chance, check them out. They're going to rank all our players for the 2020 season. As you can see over here, they have their tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4, and so on. So they're ranked for you on Fantasy Pros, so you can decide which kickers you like in the upcoming season based upon their rankings. Over here on the right, we have one of our another favorite websites we like to go to, and that's RT Sports. And right here, this is how they finished in the season. Here's their point column here in this league. And it would be similar to any league that has kickers. Unfortunately, a lot of leagues are getting away from kickers. I mean, Fanduel doesn't even do it, and it's just starting to be the way things are going. But in most leagues, especially if you play in a lot of leagues, you'll see that you have to have a kicker. So pay attention. They score points just like any other position player. It's just the value's not there. So I would put them last on my priority list. Kickers would be the last thing I would draft after I had most of my roster ready, and then I would try to get one of the kickers I went into the draft trying to get. And we'll show you how to do that later. But anyways, if you want to see one of these two sites, just click the button below and we'll make sure you get over there and check them out. So let's check out who our top kickers are in the 2020 NFL season. As you can see over here on Fantasy Pros, they have one of my favorite kickers. I've had him for years, Justin Tucker. He's always an accurate kicker. As you can see over here, he's top 3 last year. He's very accurate, 28 out of 29 field goals. That's how accurate he is. He also kicks field goals of 50 yards all the time. If you could get him, you should. But I got a rule. I never take kickers until, like, if I'm in a 20-round draft, round 18 would probably be the earliest I would take a kicker. Normally, Justin Tucker is not there. Why? Because people know he's a good kicker. He's accurate. He's going to get a chance to kick a lot of field goals, so they take him way too early for me. I'm usually taking my handcuffs and backups to other positions, which are much more important. I call them priority, and I know that I can get a good kicker later in the draft. So he's usually not there, but I did manage to get him in round 18 in a draft last year out of 20 rounds, and he kicked for me well all year. But if you can get him, great, or any of these tier 1 kickers. Look over here where it says tier 1. If you can get any of these guys in rounds, later in your draft, rounds 18, 19, 20, do it. But they'll probably be gone. You could put them on a list. And when it gets down to the last one, if you want to take him in an earlier round, you could probably keep him all year. I think Harrison Buckner, you can see right here, he scored a ton of points. He's a good kicker. The next guy they have is Will Lutz. As you can see, he finished in second. He's a great kicker. He kicked 32 at 36, and the guy ahead of him, Buckner, kicked 34, 38. And of course, Greg Zuerlein, as you can see right here, surprise, he's not with the Los Angeles Rams, but that's okay. I like where he went to Dallas even better because they got like a semi-dome thing down there. Dallas can move the ball up and down, and they've had problems at kicker. Well, guess what? This guy's really accurate, problem he's had like the last 3 years is he sometimes misses games because he's got this like growing injury that keeps coming back and back. But hopefully they got that taken care of. I wouldn't, if he falls to you in that round 18, I would highly suggest you draft him because I think he's going to be in the top 5, 6 kickers this year. As you could see last year, he was right here at number 11. Just had some injuries and the Rams weren't doing well. And you could see he missed a ton of field goals. Look at that, 24 of 33. Man, I don't know. Hopefully he does well. He has been an accurate kicker. So Greg Zuerlein is someone I would kind of like, but I don't know. We'll see. But let's check out these tier 2 guys right here. Right here it says tier 2. I don't know why they have Robbie Gould so high. I mean, he played last year for San Francisco, and maybe San Francisco is a good team, can move the ball. They made the Super Bowl, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's check it out where he ended up last year. Right down here at 18. He missed a bunch of field goals, 23 of 31. I can't suggest Robbie Gould. Fantasy Pros has him kind of high. As you can see, the next kicker, Matt Prater. I think if you go with Matt Prater, most of the time he does pretty good. He kicks indoors, which is what you want in a high-scoring offense. If Matthew Stafford's the quarterback, they're going to be moving the ball up and down the field, and he's very accurate. Look over here at 26 to 31. I mean, you'd like to see that 28 to 31, or up here, look what these guys did. So he's a decent kicker. If he falls to you at the end of a draft, yeah, maybe. I would see who they play at the beginning of the season. And then, this guy here came out of nowhere. I mean, rookie kicker, Tampa Bay, missed a bunch of extra points. But look what he did over here, finished 4th. Hell, he missed a bunch of field goals too, 27 of 35. Can't suggest him, but, Tom Brady is their quarterback. Might have to go with this guy late in the draft, but you can see they have him ranked high, and he was 4th. So Bruce Arians is the coach, so they're going to be moving the ball up and down the field. So yeah, Matt Gay could definitely help you win some weeks. So I could see taking him late in the draft. These are the guys you might want to, these top 3 here. So yeah, you're going to have to probably take them earlier than I would. But when you start getting in the tier 2 here, tier 3, these are guys you take when they show up at the end of a draft. So Mike Bagley, he was injured most of the year last year. He came back from San Diego. You can see he's way down here. But he didn't play most of the year. Still a good kicker. I mean, you look over here, 13 of 16, but he didn't play many games. And they don't have Phillip Rivers, so I can't really suggest them. So most of these guys in here I probably wouldn't take unless they fell to me late in a draft. I'll tell you who I really like this year is Zane Gonzalez. There's some teams out there that are going to kick themselves for cutting this guy. Let's check him out over here on RT Sports. Man, the kid had 31 and 35 field goals. He's be somebody I'd be looking to get in my draft. When it comes to around 18, 19, if he's still sitting there at the end of your draft, nail him. Arizona's going to move the ball up and down the field. They're in a dome half the season. Good pick. Zane Gonzalez, hopefully he's the kicker for Arizona, and if he is, I would highly suggest you pick him up. You could probably keep him most of the year because he kicks in a dome. So I would probably pass on Kai Fairbon, Jake Elliott. It's whether what you want to start getting into the draft. I mean, everybody's in a 12-man league, everybody's taking one kicker. So that's why they always tell you just wait till the end of the draft, take a kicker, which I agree. But you should take a good kicker, not just, I'll just take this guy. One, Jake Elliott's a good kicker. But who are they playing against? In the first few games, are they playing against a team they can move the ball up and down the field? If they are, then I would take, this guy because he's going to get some opportunities. You want kickers on teams that the offense can move the ball and play in decent weather, whether it's a dome or maybe just in a good weather game. Let's face it, if it's 20 degrees outside and it's snowing, I'd probably avoid the kicker. If it's raining, probably avoid the kicker. But 65, 70 degrees and sunny, that's in a game where the two defenses aren't very good in that particular game, then I would probably switch my kicker and go to whoever can get me the most points. I like to look at the over-under in games. So if I see a game where the projected point total by the bookies you can bet on games with is in the 50s, and both kickers are available, I'll probably take one of those kickers for that week just because I got a chance for a lot of points. So don't underestimate kickers. They're part of your league and they can score points. Therefore, you should pay attention. I would take them late in my draft though. Would not reach on any of these top tier kickers. You can get good kickers late in the draft or do what I do most of the time, which is stream them. What I mean by streaming means I go to the waiver wire and I just pick up a kicker and play him for a couple weeks because he's got good matchups and good weather, maybe in domes against poor defenses, and then I cut him and pick up another kicker. And that's what you should be looking at kickers as. Someone that you can add. It's kind of like the icing on the cake thing, cherry on top of the sundae. It adds to it, you know what I'm saying? It makes it all taste better. So that's what you should be thinking about as kickers, but don't ignore them. Don't just keep playing the same kicker week after week. So don't be enamored with just a kicker. And there are some other kickers I do like, and let me give them to you real quick in case you're late in your draft and you just want a kicker. I tell you what, you can't go wrong. Mason Crosby. Joey Sly was a rookie kicker last year, and he was leading the league in kicker scoring for probably the first 5-6 weeks. When they had quarterback issues, that's when he fell off. So they shouldn't have quarterback issues this year, and I think he'll be a good kicker. The Denver kicker here kicks a lot of long field goals because the air is really thin. We don't know where Steven Gostkowski's going. He was hurt last year, but he is a good kicker. See where he ends up in free agency. Dan Bailey's a really accurate kicker. So is Jason Myers and Chris Boswell. Question is, how many opportunities will they get? And if you take a look at some of these guys over here, as you can see, Bailey was up here. I had him on one of my teams because I was streaming a kicker, and he's always good. 27-29. Matt Prater, 26-31. That's not really good, but you can see Dan Bailey, if he gets the opportunities, will do very good. Here's Brandon McManus. He missed 5 field goals in Denver. They like to do those 50-yard field goals all the time in Denver because it's thin air. So he's not a bad kicker. And as you can see here, Chris Boswell missed a couple field goals. And once they get Ben Roethlisberger back, and I think you could see him as a decent kicker that you could try. I still like Jason Myers. I mean, they're paying him a bunch of money down here. He did miss some field goals. And here's a guy I kind of like, Austin Seibert for the Cleveland Browns. It's a bad weather kind of stadium thing, but I think with their offense, they're going to move the ball up and down the field with a really good coach this year. They got rid of Freddie Kitchens, picked up this guy. He's a great coach in Minnesota. So I think that maybe they'll be able to be a better team as far as offensively moving the ball. So I look for Austin Seibert to kick a lot of field goals this year, maybe even get in the top 10 for next year. So that'd be some of my sleeper picks that I really like. I mean, I do like Dustin Hopkins. I do like Jake Elliott. So you could see there's a lot of great kickers in the league. So don't panic if you don't get one of the top 5. And let me give you one last one I want to keep an eye on is Young Ho Koo. I mean, he's a cool kicker. Anyways, he's 23-26 on a team that's going to move the ball. So, this kid seems to be accurate. He's their kicker. He kicks indoors in Atlanta. So you may want to consider drafting him because I think he could possibly end up in the top 10 next year if he makes the team and he's a good kicker. Kind of like a late sleeper guy, but he's also an accurate kicker. Okay, here we are back on our website. We just got done talking about our top kickers we liked, our sleeper kickers we liked, and where you should be drafting them, which is in the latter end of your drafts, maybe rounds, the second, third to the last pick kind of thing, or the last round, as long as you can get a good kicker. Remember, they're last on our priority list as far as position players we want to draft, but what's important is you should never get complacent about a kicker. If you lose your game against a head-to-head against somebody by a point or two, it's probably because your kicker missed a field goal or didn't kick enough field goals. So look, make sure you get a good kicker. Even if you have to stream them every week, that means pick up a different kicker week in and week out. I've done it for years. I'm Buster Brown. The show's Redemption Rehab. Good luck.